On September 16, 2024, Sean Diddy Combs, one of hip-hop's most iconic figures, was arrested in New York on charges related to sex trafficking, racketeering, and illegal transportation for prostitution. The arrest followed an extensive, years-long investigation that uncovered numerous allegations tied to sexual misconduct and predatory behavior. Diddy, who rose to fame with his Bad Boy Records label and has since built a multi-million-dollar empire, now faces federal charges that could drastically impact his legacy and career. This article delves into the complex series of events leading up to Diddy's arrest, the legal charges, the music industry's response, and the broader social implications. The legal troubles for Sean Diddy Combs began to surface in November 2023, when multiple women came forward with civil lawsuits accusing him of sexual assault, emotional abuse, and coercion.
Internal pain after being sexually assaulted has been incredibly deep and hard to put into words. It goes beyond just physical harm caused by and during the assault. It's a pain that reaches into your very core of who you are and leaving emotional scars that may never fully heal.
These women, many of whom were linked to his businesses or worked with him in a professional capacity, describe harrowing experiences that allegedly occurred over decades. Some of the lawsuits were quietly settled, but others brought serious accusations to light that would later escalate into federal charges. These allegations prompted not only public scrutiny, but also attracted the attention of federal authorities. Homeland Security investigations, ACNs, began probing Combs for possible involvement in sex trafficking and other crimes. Their investigation was kept under wraps for months, but it slowly expanded into a much larger inquiry as more victims came forward. In March 2024, federal agents raided Combs in Los Angeles and Miami, executing search warrants in connection to the ongoing investigation. According to sources familiar with the raids, investigators seized various documents, digital devices, and communications that helped build the case against him. These raids were pivotal in advancing the federal probe from mere civil complaints to criminal charges. Combs' legal team initially downplayed the significance of these actions, stating that the raids were procedural and had been conducted without yielding any incriminating evidence. Nonetheless, the raids marked a turning point, as investigators began compiling evidence that pointed to a broader criminal enterprise, with allegations of financial fraud, money laundering, and drug trafficking tied to Combs' operations. On September 16, 2024, Sean Diddy Combs was arrested in New York following a sealed indictment filed by U.S. Attorney Damian Williams. The indictment laid out multiple federal charges, including violations of the Mann Act and early 20th century law aimed at prohibiting the interstate transportation of individuals for illicit sexual purposes. Diddy is accused of using his influence and wealth to coerce women into traveling across state lines for sexual activities, allegedly facilitated under the guise of professional opportunities. The indictment also includes racketeering charges under the RICO Act, which suggests that Combs operated a long-term criminal organization. Prosecutors believe that Diddy's vast entertainment empire, including his record label and media ventures, served as fronts for illegal activities like sex trafficking and drug operations. If convicted under these charges, Combs could face life in prison. The charges Combs faces are severe, especially the Mann Act violations and RICO charges. Prosecutors allege that Combs manipulated and controlled numerous women, often promising them career advancements in exchange for sexual favors. Many of these women were reportedly transported across state lines and held in luxury hotels, where they were forced into sexual relationships. Some of the women who came forward described years of psychological and physical abuse, with claims that they were threatened or blackmailed into remaining silent. Sex trafficking under the Mann Act carries significant penalties, especially when linked to other crimes, such as organized criminal behavior. In this case, prosecutors argue that Diddy was not only involved in sexual exploitation, but also part of a larger criminal enterprise. The inclusion of racketeering charges could signal that federal authorities are building a case similar to other high-profile convictions like that of R. Kelly, who was sentenced to 30 years in prison in 2022 for similar crimes. Combs has long been known for his tenacity and control over his brand and image, and his legal defense strategy reflects this. Following his arrest, Combs' lead attorney, Mark Agnifilo, swiftly released a statement denouncing the charges as unfounded and asserting that his client would fight vigorously to clear his name. Agnifilo has criticized the prosecution for allegedly relying on weak evidence from civil lawsuits and argued that the charges are an attempt to destroy Combs' legacy and reputation. As news of Diddy's arrest spread, the music industry began distancing itself from him. While some of his closest collaborators have remained silent, others have spoken out against him. Artists like Mace, who had a strained relationship with Combs over contractual disputes, hinted that the allegations didn't come as a surprise. Other figures, such as Faith Evans and Lil' Kim, have yet to publicly comment, though sources suggest they are reeling from the news. Combs' media network, Revolt TV, and his successful Ciroc vodka partnership are now facing immense pressure to cut ties with the music mogul. Several luxury brands, including high-end fashion labels like Sean, are reassessing their association with him as well. The public reaction to Sean Diddy Combs' arrest has ignited a fierce debate on social media. The hashtag DiddyArrest trended globally within hours, with opinions deeply divided. A substantial number of fans have expressed shock and disbelief, defending Combs as a victim of a smear campaign orchestrated by the media. So many highlight his long-standing contributions to music and philanthropy, questioning the timing and credibility of the allegations. Conversely, supporters of the Me Too movement argue that this case highlights the abuse of power by wealthy, influential men in the entertainment industry. These critics emphasize that for years, men like Combs have been shielded from the consequences of their actions due to their status and control over media narratives. With increasing accountability being demanded across various industries, this case is being seen as a potential tipping point in the fight against systemic abuse within music, echoing other high-profile cases involving figures like R. Kelly and Harvey Weinstein. Diddy's mansion was the primary focus of investigators. The multi-million-dollar estate, known for hosting numerous high-profile parties and industry events, became the epicenter of the investigation. Agents meticulously searched the property, inspecting private rooms, offices, and communication hubs within the estate. Several rooms were reportedly filled with sensitive documents and encrypted devices believed to contain records of illegal activities. In addition to seizing physical documents, agents also obtained hard drives and servers, which are now being examined for incriminating evidence. The L, a mansion, characterized by its modern architecture, boasts multiple bedrooms, a recording studio, and a theater room, which investigators scoured for evidence linking Diddy to trafficking-related crimes. The estate is also equipped with high-end security systems, many of which were accessed by law enforcement to review surveillance footage that could offer insight into the comings and goings of individuals at his residence. Despite this, others maintain that Combs is being unfairly targeted, asserting that many of the allegations come from disgruntled former employees or individuals looking to exploit his wealth. Some question the credibility of the victims, suggesting the possibility of ulterior motives, including financial gain or revenge. However, the growing momentum of social justice movements has emboldened more voices to call for justice, regardless of fame or wealth. So these voices highlight the importance of allowing the legal process to unfold while ensuring that the survivor stories are heard and validated. In a landscape where powerful men have historically been protected, the case is seen as a litmus test for how far society has come in confronting abuse in the music industry. In a bombshell lawsuit filed under New York's Adult Survivors Act, Cassie Ventura detailed years of alleged abuse and control by Sean Diddy Combs. Ventura, who met Combs in 2005 when she was 19 and he was 37, claimed that Combs dictated nearly every aspect of her life, from her career to her personal health decisions. As she described frequent violence, claiming Combs physically assaulted her multiple times, annually, and coerced her into drug use. Ventura also recounted being forced to engage in sex with male sex workers in various cities, which Combs allegedly recorded and watched. Despite the trauma, Ventura says she didn't approach authorities out of fear for her safety, believing that reporting the abuse would only lead to further harm. One of the most harrowing incidents in the lawsuit alleges that in 2018, Combs forced his way into her apartment after dinner and raped her, despite her repeated resistance. After this, Ventura says she finally severed ties with him for good. The lawsuit has drawn significant public attention, especially as it highlights broader issues of power and control in the entertainment industry, with many speculating about how this might affect Combs' legacy. As of now, Combs remains in federal custody, with bail denied due to the severity of the charges. Legal experts predict that the trial could last for months, with testimonies from numerous witnesses, including former employees, associates, and victims. Prosecutors are reportedly preparing a case that will delve deep into Combs' alleged criminal activities, which could further damage his reputation and career. If convicted, Sean Diddy Combs faces the possibility of life imprisonment. The racketeering and sex trafficking charges carry harsh sentences, and the impact on his legacy would be devastating. Beyond the legal penalties, the arrest could mark the end of Combs' influence in the music world and reshape how the industry addresses issues. P.